Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head down to Leeds in Yorkshire once again, and we're going to do another visit to Northern Monk and have another beer from their patrons project. So this one is number 8.03, it's called the Double Dry Hop Lager Laurel, which is a new hop. Laurel of course is a new hop from America that's meant to be really quite good. It's getting more and more popular, and it should be quite an interesting one. This guy comes in at 5.7%, it's another one of these 440ml cans that I always complain about, and this was another beer that was recommended to me by the guys at Market Hall Wines in Durham. So a big thank you to them once again. I'll put their link in the Facebook page, or the Facebook page link in the description below. I can't speak in this video, but as I say, 5.7% lager this one, and it said on the website that this is supposed to be one of these beers that's a little bit of a hybrid between an IPA and a lager, so should be a really interesting one. Northern Monk, as we know, do some really good beers, and I hope you guys enjoy my take on this one. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, of course, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Northern Monk before. No doubt there will be some more in the near future. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, prefecture, county, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the English beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Northern Monk then, on to my brewery notes. So as I've told you before, Northern Monk are based in Leeds, and they were founded back in 2013 by Russell Bissett. Now he started brewing in his mum's basement, and then he launched officially at the Sparrow Beer Cafe in Bradford, and in August 2014 they moved to the old Flax store in the city of Leeds at Marshall's Mill, and they've been working to expand their capacity there ever since. But they say that they like to pay homage to the old monastic brewing in England that went on for centuries but is largely overlooked these days. Of course, when we think about monks brewing and monastic brewing, we do tend to think about Belgium and of course the Netherlands as well, and the Trappist beers that are brewed over there. But at the brewery they also have the Refectory, which is their bar and restaurant. I've heard that's very good. I do need to get down to Leeds and check that out at some point, but they currently brew over 20,000 pints of beer per week which goes all over the world, and they also have their Patrons project, of which this beer is a member, and this is where they collaborate with other breweries, and they also bring in like local restaurant owners and things like that to do collaborations with them. So really interesting brewery, this one. They're always putting out some interesting experimental beers in this Patrons project, and of course they do have their kind of core range of beers as well. That I need to check out a few more of those actually, because they've been around for a little while, so you can, hopefully I can review a few more of those before I head back to Sweden, but for the moment you'll be seeing me reviewing some of these Patrons project beers. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about Northern Monk for just now. If you want to learn more, check out the brewery website in the description below, and I'll put their Facebook page down there as well, so you can follow them and keep up to date with all the new beers that are coming out. But anyway, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself. So as I told you, this one's a 5.7% lager beer. It's hot with laurel from America, which is supposed to give you a nice kind of lemony citrus, but it can also give you some nice kind of dark fruits and things like that, and it's supposed to have a good sort of spicy floral component to it as well. So I'll just let you have a little quick look at the artwork on this one. I did think that this beer was called Diversion originally because it had that sign on it, but this one is brewed in collaboration with Ries Leung and Vague apparently as well. So I tried looking up who that was on the Northern Monk website, but it didn't actually tell you, otherwise I would have included that information in the video. But 2.51 UK units, this one, as I say, it's a 440ml can. I keep complaining, why can't they just use half-litre cans like, you know, like German breweries and things like that? It really doesn't make sense to use 440s. As I say, I think that might be the US pint, but I'm not sure. But yeah, 5.7% lager beer, this one, nicely presented. So without further ado, let's get it out and we'll get on with the tasting then. If I can get my nail under it, there we are. So yeah, ooh, you can smell some of these nice hoppy notes off this as you open it up. So Laurel, as I say, is a new hop from America that it seems to be getting more and more popular. But you know, it's one that I haven't had too much of. I think I've only had one beer or so that's had laurel in it. There's another hop that's come out called Brew that seems to be getting more and more popular. But as you can see with this one, it's poured with a solid, I would say, fingering a bit of a frothy, slightly creamy coloured head on this one. It's bright yellow. That, if I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see there's no transparency to this beer. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But overall, you know, it looks pretty nice. It's more like a kind of hazy lager, this one. If I looked at this beer, I would probably think it's more of a pale ale than a lager, actually. But yeah, let's have a little look at the aroma then and see how we get on. Now that's quite interesting, because it's got a little bit of a noble hop quality to it. It does have a little bit of a kind of German hop quality. You can smell a little bit of that kind of sweet earthiness that you would expect from, you know, the likes of Hallertau and Tettnanger and things like that. And of course, I mean, I really got into beer when I was in Germany, when I was living in Heidelberg. I loved a good German Helles, so I became like really good at picking up. I've got a bit of a bloodhound nose for German noble hops, and for me, I reckon they've put some of that in there. I think there's maybe some Hallertau, or maybe even some Hercules or something like that in this beer, because you can smell just that little bit of sweet earthiness, and the grassy floral characters that you get from German hops are really distinctive as well. Yeah, there has to be some in there. But yeah, you can definitely smell a little bit of that laurel coming out as well. For me, it's coming across with just a little bit of a sharp lemony note, and then if you take a little bit, if you kind of waft it at yourself like that, you can pick up a little bit of an almost reddish fruit quality. I don't know if it's figs or something like that. There is a kind of slightly reddish fruit quality to this hop as well. But yeah, and the interesting thing as well, like I was saying, the laurel, when I looked it up, because you're always, you know, this is the great thing about beer. If there's a new hop comes out, it's always good to research it and see what you're supposed to get, and then you can start to learn about these hops and things like that. That's what this whole channel is about for me. It's all about learning about beer and just kind of documenting your kind of learning process and just enjoying the beer, of course, as well. But for me, yeah, I'm not getting so much of that kind of spicy floral note that you were supposed to get in the aroma. It'll probably come out a little bit more in the flavour, right enough. But of course you can smell a little bit of a kind of Pilsner malty quality to this one. There is that little bit of almost digestive biscuity sweetness in there too. But as I always say, just take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck in. But the lemony notes for me, and a little bit of that red fruit that you're supposed to get from the laurel, is kind of coming out for this on this one. But let's get stuck into this beer then. So this is the Patrons Project 8.03 from Northern Monk Brewery, a collaboration with Vague and Reese Leung apparently. So without further ado, let's get stuck into this beer then. Slàinte, skål. That's nice. Not quite what I was expecting, I have to admit. I mean, a few videos ago, I reviewed the IPL from the Shindigger Brewery in Manchester, and it came across as more of an ale than a lager. This one, to me, even though it's the same kind of colour and things, I would always expect when you get a beer that's that colour rather than being clear, you do expect it to be a bit thicker in the mouthfeel. But that's interesting that they've managed to keep the haze in this one. But they've also kept the mouthfeel as light as and crisp as you'd expect from a Pils. But that's good. I tell you something, I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink that beer again. That is nice, and you know, the flavours as well, you can really pick up that sort of German noble hop quality to it as well. That's, in terms of a lager, you know, that's one of the better lagers I've had in a wee while actually. I mean, it's a lot of craft beer drinkers kind of don't like the lager style, but see if it's done like that, you know, I can't understand why people dismiss it so much, because that's a really good lager. One of the best craft lagers I remember was the 77 lager from Brewdog. I always used to love that beer. Of course, Brewdog have kind of gone down the tubes a little bit recently. But, you know, if breweries can produce craft lagers like this, you know, there should be a bit of a renaissance for the likes of the Pils and the Pilsen and the lager style. I mean, that's, to me, that's really nice. I do hope they make that one of their regular beers. You know, I'll say that about this. The lager, as I say, it's an underrated style for me. If it's done properly, it can be really good. The other one is that comes to mind is the Don Lemon, which is Munich Brew Mafia. That was a really nice sort of craft Pilsner beer that I reviewed a while back. That's one of the other really good lagers I've had in recent times. But if you get the chance to try this one, definitely have a go at it. It's really well done. Yeah. So for me, with this one, you can feel a little bit of that pale malty character just blanket in the middle of your palate. On top of that, you can feel some of the kind of Pilsner malt. I think there's a little bit of a biscuity quality to this beer, which is really nice. It really suits the beer. Back corners of the palate, you can pick up a little touch of earthiness. As you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, you can feel there's a little bit of that kind of spicy floral note that I was saying you should get from the laurel. But underneath, as the beer kind of mellows out, you do start to get some of these noble hop qualities coming out. That slightly softer floral aromatic note from the noble hops does start to come out, and then round the very front curve of the palate you do get that grassy note, and again that grassy note is quite reminiscent of the noble hops. I'm not sure if it's Hallertau or Titnanger that's in there. It may even be Hercules, to be honest, because Hercules has a little bit more alpha acid in it, and it gives you a little bit of that kind of more spicy quality. I'd be really interested to know that, but pardon me, of course, it is laurel that is kind of leading the way on this one, and it's nice, it definitely works. So if you just go behind the front curve of the palate there, that's where you get that little oily bubble where those nice kind of fruity notes are coming out of the beer. And for me, there is quite a strong lemony presence to this one, and you know, you will get that from the noble hops, but from the laurel you're supposed to get a little bit of it too. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely a kind of lemony quality coming out of this one for me. There's almost a little bit of a slightly like tangerine note, something like that too. And as you go further into the aftertaste, you do start to get like a little bit of a slightly reddish fruit quality to this one. It's almost like a kind of candied red fruit, I think, that's coming out of this one. I don't know if there's a little bit of pineapple or something coming out of the beer as well. I think there might be just a little bit of a pineapple-y note to this one too, but I mean overall, you know, it's a really quite nice beer. I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this one again, I'll say that about that. Absolutely no questions, you know. As I say, lager, underrated style, and I wish more breweries would produce things like this, because, you know, Northern Monk have done a bloody good job of that, so well done to them. Have a go at this beer. It's a new hop, you know, probably a lager beer is a really good way to actually try new hops, because it has a sort of minimal, it has an almost minimal malt base, or you can have just a straight up IPA and have them in that as well. You know, it would be cool to see some breweries doing single hopped pils beers and testing out all these different hops. You know, things like Nelson Sauvin and Mosaic and things like that would make really quite nice lager beers. So yeah, have a go at this one for yourself and just see what you think. In terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say this one is probably light-bodied, definitely a light-bodied beer. Carbonation is quite crisp, it has quite a wet mouthfeel to it, I'll say that about it. Definitely has a little bit of a wet mouthfeel to it, and there's a good bit of hoppy bitterness as well, and I would say the mouthfeel is, overall, it's quite, yeah, wet mouthfeel, kind of very slightly oily, good little bit of hoppy bitterness, and overall, you know, it's just a really nice beer. I'm just thinking to open up the label of this one here. It tells you a little bit here on the back. I'll pause this in the video so you can stick this in. I'm forgetting that these beers can do that. There you can see a little bit about Riesling there. I was saying I should have researched this beer a little bit more, and it tells you more inside. So Riesling, you know, I think he's a is he a photographer? Yeah. But yeah, I'll have a wee read at that a little bit later, but I should have opened that up for you earlier in the video. But as I say, a really nice lager beer, this one. Good bit of hoppy bitterness. It's not going to blow your head off in terms of IBUs and things like that, but you know, it's a bloody good beer. It reminds me a lot of the Don Limon from Munich Brew Mafia in Germany. So yeah, have a go at this beer if you like that one. If you love a good hoppy pils, then you will enjoy this beer as well. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Northern Monk as well, and I will catch you guys very soon. The Patrons Project 803 Double Dry Hopped Laurel from Northern Monk's Patrons Project. Until the next time, Slanger just now, and I will catch you guys very soon. Thanks for watching. Make sure you check out my social media, and we will be doing more Northern Monk beers soon. Skål!